This is the Galaxy Z Fold8, and there's a lot of hype around this thing. Some of it I completely agree with, some of it is way over exaggerated, because if you already own a Z Fold 7, I gotta tell you something, and I'm gonna save it for the end because I want you to understand why first. But the first thing I noticed picking this up, how short it feels. It doesn't feel as comfortable as a regular candy bar phone. Even the Z Fold 7, as thin as it is, this thing is just easier to grip, more natural with one finger. It's easier to type on. This is a wide boy. Like, it feels like you're holding half a phone, so it needs a bit more precision when you're typing. And there's more fatigue in the fingers. Now look, I'm obviously nitpicking here, it's fine, but I want you to stop thinking of this as a fold. Think of it, the front screen rather, as a giant Z Flip cover screen, or, and this is specifically to my older crowd, BlackBerry Passport. That's the vibes I'm getting. That's how it feels when I use it. Now, I do wish they rounded the edges off more. The corners are boxy in a way that's going against literally everyone else right now. I think a softer radius would have made a real difference in the hand. But the design itself, like, this thing is thin, it's light, 201 grams, the lightest book-style foldable anyone has ever made. There's no under-display fingerprint sensor. It's a physical one on the side, and look, we're gonna come back to that shortly, but it creates a problem no one's talking about. Now, one correction on something you'll hear elsewhere. People keep saying this has a titanium frame. It does not. The frame is advanced armor aluminum. The titanium is a flexible titanium alloy sheet laminated inside the display panel itself. Now, Samsung is calling it Flex Titanium, and it's generally new this year. It's just not where people think it is. All right, the front display. I was watching YouTube on it, and I could just watch comfortably on a cover screen. That has never once been true for me on a Fold. And here's why. And I want to give you the actual numbers because I have not seen anyone else do this. The Z Fold's cover screen, the Z Fold 7, is 6.5 inches. This one is 5.5 inches. So the Fold 7 wins, right? No, it's the opposite, and it's not even close. The Fold 7's cover screen is 21 by 9. It's tall and skinny. It's only 2.56 inches wide. This one, 10 by 16, and it's 2.94 inches wide, 15% wider. And video doesn't care about your diagonal. Video fills the width. The smaller screen shows a video 15% bigger on the diagonal, about 32% more actual picture. The 1 inch smaller panel gives you a third more video. And look at the S26 number. This cover screen beats a full Galaxy S26 for watching video. A phone you never have to open is better for YouTube than Samsung's regular flagship. That's the entire argument for this form factor in one number. Now look, what you're giving up is everyday interaction. When you're typing on the Fold 7's cover screen, you get a lot of vertical space. You can see more of a message, more of a web page, more of what you're actually doing. The Fold 8 cuts that roughly in half. You're typing and the text is eating the top half of the screen, and if your eyesight isn't great and you bump up the font size, it gets worse fast. It compounds. Like, if you're spending 90% of your time on the cover screen doing text and email and messaging, the Fold 7 or the Fold 8 Ultra is generally more comfortable. Now, once you open it up, it flips again. On the Fold 7, I never found the inner display that intuitive. On this one, I do, and the reason is the aspect ratio. Now, the Fold 7's inner screen is basically square, 1.11 to 1, and square is a weird shape for almost everything. Watch 16 by 9 on it, and you get these enormous black bars, top and bottom. This is 4 by 3, and here's the thing that sounds impossible. The 7.6 inch screen shows a bigger 16.9 video than the Fold's 8 inch screen, 6.99 inches versus 6.82. Smaller panel, bigger picture, same reason as the cover screen. It's wider relative to its height. And when I'm not watching something, I keep it in portrait. And because of that aspect ratio, it feels more like a piece of paper. Proper margins, proper proportions, reading books on this, holding it up on a call, working on the inner display is just more comfortable than the Fold 7, which in landscape or portrait is really wide letterbox that never feels like a proper page. Now, where the Fold 7 does win, two apps side by side. Like, if you generally live in a split screen all day, the near square feel gives each app a better shape. Now, I'm not that person. I use the inner screen to watch things, browse web pages, and to read books, maybe games sometimes. It's very rare I'm slapping two apps side by side. Although Samsung's whole framing that the Ultra is the one for power users is a bit much. Like, you can absolutely be a power user on the Fold 8. The benefits are just reversed. Pull up a spreadsheet in landscape here or portrait, and you see way more columns and fewer rows. On the Fold 7, it's rows over columns. Neither one is more productive. They're productive at different things. Now we have to talk about the crease. You can obviously still see it. And I've noticed the more I fold and unfold this thing, the more visible the crease becomes. Like, look at my Fold 7. There's no way it looked this deep when I bought it. A year of use and it's gotten worse. Even sounds worse when opening and closing. It sounds like an old rusted machine. The Fold 8 is not cranky yet, but give it 3-4 months and I think that crease deepens. Now here's the part nobody put on a slide. There is no flex mode on the Z Fold 8. The hinge is different this year. Push it past a certain point and it just opens the rest of the way. It doesn't hold at an angle the way the Z Fold 7 does. That stiff stops anywhere hinge is gone. And this is the part that got me. It's still on the Fold 8 Ultra. It's on the Flip 8. It's only gone here. There's no flex mode in the menu settings at all. Now there's some quick display notes we got to talk about. Both panels are 120 Hertz LTPO. Both hit over 3100 nits of peak brightness against a 2600 nits on the Fold 7. Outdoors is better, not night and day. What did stand out is the coating. It's not as anti-reflected as some of the stuff coming out of China right now, but to my eye, it's cutting noticeably more glare than the Fold 7. And I've always hated how reflected those panels were. And I'm glad they didn't go full matte because you'd lose some of that vibrancy. I feel like this is a good happy medium. Also, one thing that nobody warned me about, you have to register 3 different fingers to live with this phone. All right, when you have it closed in your right hand, you're using your thumb, right? Closed in your left hand, you're probably using your index. When you have it opened up in portrait mode, the camera's facing upwards, the power button is at the top, so you're probably using your pointer finger. Now the camera situation is disappointing, and I wanna be precise about why, because most of the takes I've seen are kind of lazy. Like, we're down to 2 cameras now. They're not terrible, but they're not S26 Ultra cameras. The main is a 50 megapixel sensor, the exact same sensor as the regular Galaxy S26. Same ISOCELL GN3, same f1.8, same 1/1.56 inch size. I shot with both and the results are basically identical. I'm not gonna burn you with a 5-minute comparing phones, cameras, they're the same. On a $1,900 phone, that's a fair thing to be annoyed about, but here's what nobody's telling you. The ultrawide is the opposite story. It's a 50 megapixel Sony with autofocus. The base S26 ultrawide is 12 megapixels with no autofocus. This isn't just better than the S26, it's the same class of ultrawide as the S26 Ultra. 4 times the resolution, brighter lens, and because it focuses, you get real macro out of it. Now, I don't use ultra-wide consistently, but if I'm getting an ultra tier ultra-wide on a Fold, I'm not gonna complain about it. But what you're really losing is the telephoto. The Fold 7 and the Ultra have a 10 megapixel 3 times. And honestly, that telephoto was never great, but it existed. Here you're on digital past 1 times and past 2 times, it gets really soft. You can zoom up to 10 times. But here's the one thing that stinks. The base Galaxy S26, a phone that costs less than half of this, has an optical telephoto. This does not. Selfies, you get 2 10 megapixel cameras, one on the cover, one inside, versus 12 megapixels on the S26. But the inner one is an 18mm ultra wide, which is generally useful for group shots. And having 2 means you're never stuck only having to use the one on the outside. Now here's what I found generally funny. The Fold 8 has a better video feature set than the base Galaxy S26 with worse camera hardware. This also tells me Samsung is purposely upselling you to their Ultra models to get those video features. It's not a hardware limitation. All right, now you're looking at the internal cameras on the Galaxy Z Fold 8 and the Galaxy S26. The internal camera actually looks pretty good. I think they did a much better job than they have on previous years when they had it under the display. But yeah, you guys let me know how it looks. And again, how's the audio quality? And look, for performance, it runs the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy. Same as the S26, performance is what you'd expect. Games ran great, and having proper widescreen shape and landscape actually makes games feel better than it does on the Fold 7. One thing to flag, under long sustained loads, it throttles pretty hard and gets warm. And here's a tell, Samsung's own press release specifically says the Ultra got expanded graphite cooling structure. The line does not appear for this phone, so it doesn't have that. All right, let's move on to the battery. Like, when I saw 4,800 milliamp hours, I assumed this thing would die on me pretty quickly, but I was absolutely wrong, and the numbers are wild. 400 more milliamp hours than the Fold 7, plus a more efficient chip, and in independent testing, this thing scores almost 17 hours of active use against the Fold's 13 hours. That tracks exactly with my experience. Zero battery anxiety. I'm ending days at 40, 50%, Whereas on the Fold 7, I was watching that number by dinner, and 45-watt charging, which is the first time any Samsung foldable has ever gone past 25. 0 to about 65% in half an hour versus 53% on the Fold 7. Not the fastest on the market, but is the single most overdue upgrade on this phone. You got Wi-Fi 7, reverse wireless charging, DeX is still here. You can use it wirelessly if you want, have a desktop whenever you need it. But we gotta talk about the speakers, because this area I'm not the biggest fan. Like, they're average. That's the honest thing to say. Both speakers sit on the same half of the phone, so the second you open it up into landscape, the stereo separation falls apart. Closed, it's fine. Open, it collapses. The S26 Ultra obviously sounds better, same with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Here's a little test against the Z Fold 7. You guys let me know which one sounds better. Also, for those of you asking about how Instagram and TikTok look like on these phones, like if you're on the cover screen and scrolling through Instagram, it's zoomed in, right? You have to kind of zoom out if you want to see the full vertical. You do get small black bars on the side, but yeah, that's the price you pay for this style or aspect ratio. So look, if you own a Galaxy Z Fold 7, you'll love the form factor, but this is not a massive upgrade. I need you to hear that. The trade-in deals are absurd right now, and if you're an enthusiast, obviously you're gonna go for it. I get it. I took advantage of them myself. This is a review unit. I actually bought my own. But if you're hoping this was the dream machine, your Fold 7 is still an excellent phone. In a few specific ways, it's better than this one, especially if you live on the cover screen and you type a lot. Should you spend the extra couple hundred for the Ultra? If you're a camera person, yes. If you're on your phone all day and you need maximum battery, or you generally run two apps side by side constantly, again, yes, that's the phone for you. Everyone else, I'd argue the Ultra is priced ridiculously for what it is. $200 for a telephoto you probably won't love and slightly bigger battery. But if you've been waiting for something smaller and wider with a front screen that's finally good, enough that you don't even need to open the phone and you can live with a camera hit, this is it. Like, I love this phone. It's not perfect, but it doesn't disappoint. And I think this is the shape that wins. I honestly think, like, in a few years, the tall, skinny Fold gets left behind and everything converges on this, the same way every phone became a candy bar. Anyways, that wraps up my video on the Galaxy Z Fold8. I'll place links to it in the description down below. If you have any question at all, let me know in the comment section. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.